So I just got back from watching the Minecraft movie, and there's a lot I would like to say about it, and a lot of minor tweaks I would do to the movie if I had made it. Now, I'm not going to be overly critical, because there is a lot of things I did like about the movie, but I just decided to share my thoughts because I usually don't get to do this very often. Anyway, let's just get right into it. I enjoyed the visuals and the editing for this movie. I would say that was probably the best aspect was like the editing, and I would also say the animations for like the CGI characters. That was really good, and it felt nice. So in the beginning of the movie, we have Jack Black who narrates the entire storyline, which felt really off to me because a lot of the time people say you should show and not tell, but no, they basically were telling and showing. And I feel like that really took me out of the movie, at least in the beginning, just because it felt very off. Like it was super weird. Oh, and this is completely a spoiler, by the way. If you don't like this stuff and you don't want to be spoiled, then I would suggest skipping, but I'm sure you've already seen a few other videos like this. But anyway, yeah, so this is a big spoiler. Jack Black is in the middle of going into the Nether, and there's this pig lady. I don't think they ever gave her a name. I could be wrong. He decides to go and talk to her, and there's just this huge argument, and she takes him because he has the cube of... What was it called again? The names in this movie were also very weird. The Cube of Dominance? Yeah, that's what it was called. And so she wants this Cube of Dominance to like take over the world. The whole storyline for me, maybe it's because I need to watch it again, felt very fuzzy. But yeah, so this pig lady really wants this Cube of Dominance, and she does whatever it takes to get there and get it, which leads to Jack Black's dog named Dennis taking the cube and hiding it under his bed. Now, I'm not exactly familiar, and I might need to like go back and like see this later on. I'm not exactly sure how... Oh, yeah. Okay, I was trying to figure out how the Cube of Dominance leaves his house. So I assume he got kicked out and evicted from his house, which ended up putting it in that container place that we later see Garbage Man. I think that's what they called him. See, like the names in this movie is strange, and I can't even recall the names of the little boy and the older sister in the movie, but I'll get into that later. And so Garbage Man, who is this gaming guy who is kind of like mediocre, and he hasn't been really successful since his debut doing like arcade games back in the 90s. He was really popular for it, and so Garbage Man ever since has kind of been like kind of being lazy and hoping his business takes off again, but it hasn't. So that's some little origin story of Garbage Man. Anyway, this dude's about to lose his store, so he decides to go and he goes to storage to like make some money off of it. And for some odd reason, this is the one thing I did not like, was how short the cameos were. We got to see DanTDM, Aphmau, and a few other people that I don't know the names of, but I guess they were also Minecraft YouTubers. At least some of them were. And they didn't get to talk at all for their cameo. They just were like background characters, which is fine, but they picked the most weirdest place to put them. Like, if you really think about it, what is DanTDM and Aphmau doing at a storage place? What is going on? Anyway, this guy buys the storage, Garbage Man buys the storage, and he was hoping for a gaming system. I don't remember what it was. I apologize. I'm just going back in what my memory's telling me. He buys the storage and he's upset because he didn't get the little console he wanted, but there is the Cube of Dominance there. So the Cube of Dominance is in the storage unit that he buys. And he's like, oh, this sucks. I can't believe there was nothing I wanted in this storage unit. You lied to me, dude. He leaves and he's like all depressed. His car breaks down, and that's when we're introduced to, I would say, the hero of our story, or like the main protagonist or whatever. So we have the little boy and the older sister who just found out their mom died. The way the older sister said her line out was really weird to me, because she just flat out says, yeah, mom died. This is where she wanted us to move, I assume. Something like that. I'm like, That's a little weird. So after she passed away, they move into Steve's house, which I'm surprised they can afford all this, but I guess maybe the mom had some leftover money spared. And they never say how the mom died. It's just like something they just throw out there. Yeah, mom died, so we're moving here. And the older sister also, when I first saw the trailers, I thought the older sister was a lot younger. I didn't actually realize she was a full-on adult. I was getting like teenager vibes, like at least 16 to 17, maybe that age. I guess it works that she's in her 20s so they can like keep the plot focused, but I just thought it was a little strange when I heard this storyline because I wasn't expecting it. And then they move in and there's the weirdest, this is like the weirdest thing to explain, but we meet the black lady, and I don't know her name either. I apologize. I'll probably add their names in post. But then we see the black lady who I believe is like the real estate lady. I'm not too sure, but she apparently does a lot of different jobs, and she first appears with a bunch of animals in her car. She has like a llama, a weird cage full of other animals, and yeah, that whole thing also took me out because I was like, what's going on? Like, I'm watching this movie, I'm just like, what in the world is going on? We see Garbage Man, who literally is the only person I remember's name other than Dennis and Steve, because they say Dennis so many times. Anyway, we meet Steve first, who I also want to get into that, because that's a whole other thing that I don't like. We get Steve narrating, we get Garbage Man who finds the cube, and then we also find out about the older sister and the little brother, and then the black lady. That's how everyone's introduced. But then this is when it gets weird. After the black lady leaves, and after the older sister moves them in, it's time for the little boy to like go to school. Now, if you've seen the trailers, then you probably seen this woman before, but apparently she's the principal of the little boy's school, which is crazy. Which I guess I should have expected it, but it was so weird to me how she was put in the movie, because when you watch it, she really has no other purpose other than to be like a comedy character. Like, she's just there for the bit. Oh, and the biggest thing about this movie, it's kind of one of those movies where what you see is what you get. So, I mean, there's a lot more to it when you watch it, but it doesn't feel like you really miss out anything when you watch it. Like, the trailer tells you everything you need to know. And that's it. The only thing that was left out was the pig lady. That was basically it. And maybe some scenes with like the wrestling, the baby jockey where you're in the woodland mansion. Like, that's about it. So, this movie, man. Okay, let's talk about some good things after you meet the people. Okay, so after we meet this principal, we're left a little confused because, like, at least for me, I'm left a little lost because they keep mentioning was what the principal first says when you meet her, or I guess when the little boy meets her. And she basically just bluntly says, as you know, I'm divorced. Like, she's just really blunt with the fact that she just got divorced, and her voice lines are just off. Like, I don't think there was any other way they could have made it more obvious that she was divorced, I guess. But, like, I don't know. Just the way she says it just comes off very weird to me. Garrett, who is the garbage guy, Steve, Natalie, who's the older sister, and Henry, who is the little boy. That's everyone. Oh, and then Dawn, the black lady. So yeah, there you have it. And then the vice principal, whose name is what? I'm just gonna call her Jennifer, because that's like the actress's name. And if you watch the trailer, she runs over the villager and then goes on a date with him. So I thought that was really funny, but there's nothing else left with the principal. Like, I'm done talking about the principal, but I felt like her whole story was pointless and just filler. But okay, but that's all I have to say about that plotline. Now, after we learn about like his school and how the kids think he's weird and they're bullying him, even though he made some really good art. Like, he made a banana in an apple picture. I think it was an apple or orange, but his picture was the best out of all the other kids. Personally, I think that part felt a little forced, because most kids would have been like, whoa, that's sick. but you know, I mean, they had to throw it in there somehow, I guess. Henry, in hopes to make the other kids like him, he does the most heinous thing. Feels a little bit Mary Sue-ish also, with the fact that he just knows somehow to make like a rocket. But yeah, so he makes this art piece of a rocket and a banana, and like it was really cool looking, like the little drawing. And the kids go, I bet you can't do that in real life or something. And he's like, oh yeah. And then he makes a rocket ship. Like, this is actually in the movie. He makes a rocket ship and attaches a skeleton to it, I think. I don't know. And blasts it off, which works. And then it crashes into the place that the sister works at and destroys this potato structure. This potato structure just gets destroyed. Crazy, I know, but that's what happens. And so he gets sent to the principal's office again, because the beginning, he was meeting her for the first time because he's a new kid in school. So that's when we met her the first time. The second time we meet her is because of him launching his rocket ship at a potato. A huge statue, that is, to be clear. So yeah, and then he doesn't really get in trouble too badly, to be honest. She's just like, call your guardian to come here and get you. And he's like, oh, okay. So I think he was about to call her. No, he doesn't call her, does he? No, what he actually does is he remembers meeting that garbage guy earlier, Garrett, I guess I should say. He remembers meeting Garrett earlier, so he asks him to pretend to be his uncle to get him out of school. Garrett pretends to do that for him, and then they go and leave, and he goes back to Garrett's shop. He goes to Garrett's shop, and this is where he finds the cube of dominance. And this kid's like, whoa, what is this? And Garrett's like, I don't know, I found it in the storage. Garrett and this little boy, right? They find the piece to the cube to get it to activate, which is, I think, called the Earth Crystal, the Earth Rune. I don't remember what that was called. But there's a glass case that they put the cube in, which activates a portal to the Minecraft world. Okay, but yeah, that's what happens. And this little boy's like, whoa, what's going on with this? Henry decides to follow where the cube is telling him to go, which is in the cave, like in the mines in the beginning of the movie. And the sister realizes he's gone while this is all happening. And this is the one thing that makes no sense to me. How does the girl find him? Okay, I'm gonna explain this part a little bit more thoroughly. So the little boy decides to go to the mines. He yearns for the mines just like Steve did in the beginning of the movie. And he is going there, and the girl is like realizing he's missing. So she calls up that lady, Dawn, to help her, who's like the real estate person, because she finds out he's not at school. She doesn't know anyone else that would know him. And I guess Dawn and the girl just go chasing after him without actually really knowing how. But yeah, as he gets into the mines, the girl and Dawn show up. Natalie and Dawn show up and go with them into the Minecraft world. Whole thing felt super weird because I didn't know how she found him, but it's a movie. I guess it can happen. I don't know. So they end up in the Minecraft world, the overworld. I thought it was a little strange how the Minecraft world looks. I think a lot of people already said that. Technically, Minecraft in this movie isn't exactly, but it's not really blocky. It's called mixels because they mix a lot of squares and rectangles together that shouldn't really belong. But I'm not going to get into this like details on that. But what I would say, I definitely felt like this movie felt like AI. I know that's wrong to say, but it looks like generated AI imagery, at least for me. I thought the pink sheep was funny, especially how it gets like attacked later. You know, the animals look pretty good besides the sheep sometimes, but I thought that was funny. Yeah, so they landed in the overworld in Minecraft. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the reason why we don't see Steve at this point is because he's stuck in a dungeon made by the pig lady in the Nether. So he's stuck in the Nether right now, and that's why his dog Dennis escapes to save the cube, because that because that was like the most important thing to the pig lady. But yeah, so That's just to clear up a few things. So yeah, so these people are stuck in the overworld. They have no idea where they're at. They're looking around, they're like, whoa. And then boom, out of nowhere, it's nighttime. Which is kind of funny because it's kind of like that in Minecraft. But yeah, so it turns nighttime and they're all flipping out because skeletons and zombies are attacking them. And they're just so, like, scared. They don't know what to do. For most of the movie, I would say Garrett was hilarious. He really made the movie really funny to me. So did Steve, or I guess Jack Black Steve did. So they were great. Black Lady also really funny. Dawn, she was hilarious. I mean, the actor herself is really great. So, Natalie, her whole thing, the whole movie was just trying to protect Henry, who's the little boy in the movie. So I felt like her character was very one-dimensional. Well, to be honest, all the characters were very one-dimensional. If I had to rewrite the movie again, I would merge some characters together. When I first heard about there being a Minecraft movie, I thought, and I think a lot of people thought this, I thought Jason, Momoa, I think that's how you say it, Momoa. I thought he was going to be Steve. I wasn't expecting Jack Black until, like, they mentioned he was Steve. And I was like, what? No way. Yeah, if I would have made this movie again, I would have made both Jason and both Jack Black Steve, but just make Momoa like the younger version of him, and then Jack Black is what he turned into later on, like he got tired. I didn't really like the backstory for Steve either, because we didn't really get a whole lot out of him. Nope, sorry, there's like background noise. I mean, what you saw in the trailers is what you got in the movie, really. He was a guy who yearned for the mines, he went in, and that was it. he just lived there. And it doesn't seem like he's been in the mines for very long. Mostly just because of how they structured the movie, you know? But if I were to do it again, definitely have there be a young version of Steve and the older Steve. And it just shows like one day he just got stuck in the mines, you know? He didn't yearn for the mines. He got stuck in there at a young age, and he's kind of grew up there. At least that's what I would have done. I feel like that plot line's been overused before. Maybe like another movie that did that, like Game Over or Player One. I can't remember what it was called, but something like that has already happened before in a movie. Oh, Avatar also does that too, but he didn't grow up there. But you get the point. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, Henry starts building. He figures out how to build for the first time. He's like, whoa, no way. And the girls are like, how did you do that? While Momoa's like panicking and like trying to figure out what to do, and he gets stuck in a hole and climbs out, and all this stuff happens. But yeah, he's fighting for his life while everyone else is like screaming and building like a base, pretty much. Okay, and then at this point, they all get into the base and they're about to die because of zombies on the base with them. Like they're about to get pushed off or something crazy. And last second before they get smacked up, Steve comes in and saves them. Now, you may be wondering, how did Steve help them if he's stuck in a prison? Well, the old lady discovers that the cube of dominance is back. And she's like, oh, crap, we gotta get that. So she lets Steve go to go get it for her. And he's like, of course, I'll do it. In a very Jack Black way, he's like, of course, I got it. I got this. And yeah, so he gets let go, mostly because he knows that she might have his dog. They have his collar or something dumb. That plot doesn't really get used that well, to be honest, because I guess he knows his dog's out there. I don't know, it was really weird for me. But yeah, so he saves the day, everyone's happy, and he starts showing them around the world. Oh, and another thing, this is how we get the villager later on a date with like the principal. As these people are like fighting for their life, the villager goes into the portal in like the beginning half. Like in the beginning half, he just goes straight into the portal. Later that night, he gets ran over and she apologized because she has ran people over a bunch and doesn't want him to sue. So she takes him out on a date. So that's what happens there. Really weird, but you know, sure, why not? I feel like somebody last minute said, hey, wouldn't it be funny if Jennifer was in the movie? Jennifer Cooling was like in the movie, that would be great. And then they just added her in without adding much of a like good plot for it. And they were like, hey, it would be funny if she ran over a villager and took him out on a date. Sure, why not, I guess? Yeah, so anyway, he saves the day, he takes these guys to the village and teaches them the magic of Minecraft, how to craft blocks and how to do cool stuff. And they learn all this cool things. Then the pig lady is angry at them, so she starts an attack on them and all this bad stuff happens and they fight for their lives. We get this like plot line that's really weird where the girls just automatically know how to fight and they're like beating up the guys and all that. And we got Jason Momoa who doesn't know what he's doing. And he's getting his butt kicked by like this big pig guy that the pig lady sent out. Now this is the one thing that I didn't like about like the pig people. I didn't really like this part about them was the guy's voice was so unexpected. Like, I like the guy's voice. I think it works well with the character that they made. I don't like how stupid they made him, though. Can you imagine, like, the writing team on this? They add this guy who's, like, intimidating, right? And then they give him this, like, flamboyant voice. And he's like, hey, what's going on? I don't know what's going on, which is fine, right? But then you make him stupid also, and it makes you wonder, how has this guy been alive all these years? How has he been alive all these years? Then she decides to kill him later because he was so annoying to her. Make it make sense. Anyway, so he beats the crap out of Garrett, or Garbage Man, and then a iron golem beats the crap and throws him like far away. Like he gets rid of the iron golem gets rid of the pig guy who's like a boss or whatever. So yeah, that happens. Pig lady isn't happy and basically kills him off. You don't get to see him again after like the villager arc, whatever. So the battle happens. Everyone gets split up. Natalie and Dawn are doing their own thing, beating the crap out of all the guys, and Steve, Henry, and Garbage Guy, they all go together and just like take these elytras and fly off. I thought that scene was really cool, with all the like gas guys, explosions and all that. That was great. I thought that was awesome. Only thing was that was so weird, but it kind of worked well, was Jack Black riding Jason Momoa. You'd have to see the scene to know what I mean. But he's like on top of him like he's riding a horse and he's flying off into the sunset. Henry's doing his own thing flying. And then they get stuck in this really weird situation. I don't really know why they added that, but there's this huge hole on a mountain and they're forced to like get really close together. Like they kind of get sandwiched and Jack Black's butt is in his face. And they start spinning in a circle and they get really close and like fit through the hole. I don't really know what to say to that scene other than, you know? I don't really know. But yeah, so that happens and everyone survives. Yay! So now they're off on a quest to go get this earth cube glass thing, the case. They're trying to get the case. Because in the beginning when they meet Steve, Garrett accidentally broke the case thing in order for them to get back. So that's why Steve is now helping them to retrieve the case again. So that way he can quote unquote give it to the pig lady, you know, like he can give the cube of dominance to the pig lady. So yeah, that's kind of how we end up with this journey of them like doing stuff. The girls are getting Dennis, or no, they don't really know that they're getting Dennis, but they were going to get a map. That plan falls through, and then they meet Dennis while they're lost in the middle of nowhere. And then Dennis kind of leads them to like finding Jack Black, and that's how they all like connect later on. I'm not gonna like explain the whole movie line for line because it's just a lot to go into, but for the most part, the storyline is very easy to see what's going to happen to everybody and all that. But I'm going to explain one last part I liked about the movie, which is the Woodland Mansion bit, because that part I think they did really well. And this is basically the end of the movie anyway. So at this point, so we get Steve, Jack Black, We get Steve, Garrett, and Henry, who are in the Woodland Mansion, and those two, Jack Black and Jason Momoa, they are trying to trick the Volker people, like the evil villager guys. They're trying to trick them. They're basically distracting them, right? While Henry sneaks in to find the glass case thing they need. So they're like playing with tubas and stuff. I thought that was funny. Just to let Henry find the case. Then Henry gets stuck in this room where he's forced to go through every chest one by one to find what he's looking for. It takes him a hot minute to do that. Wait, actually, does he even find it in there? I don't remember a scene where he finds it, but I swear he does find the case in there. But here's the cool part that I really like. But I feel like they didn't touch on afterwards. They should have done a better job of seeing him like fighting his like inner demons or something. But anyway, then Henry gets jumped by a Enderman while Steve and Garbage Man or Garrett, I guess, Garrett are fighting the zombie jockey because the Volker guys figured out, oh, you were tricking us. So they set him up in like a WWE area to fight. Both of them are fighting, but different battles. Jack Black is tied up while Jason is stuck to defend himself. Like he's by himself on this jockey situation. Henry, however, he's facing his inner demons because the Enderman decides to show him like a bunch of like stuff he believes about himself. So Steve tells him he's not good enough. His sister tells him he's not good enough. It's like a whole hallucination scene. The editing was really good on this, and I thought it was a cool take on what Enderman could do to people, but it just was odd. Like it was a really trippy scene. So I liked that part. And yeah, so the kid snaps out of it. He kills the Enderman, yeah, and then he finds the case. Then he falls into the hole where the wrestling bit's happening, and everything's fine. Like Steve and them, they killed the jockey, and everyone's happy. So at least it works out for them. Yeah, so after that, they are doing their own thing. So as Steve and the gang are making their way out of the mansion, the pig lady and her minions find them. Well, she was like all mad and stuff about like the cube not being hers already. Like she wants the cube really badly. And Steve's like, how did you find us? And she was like, oh, I already knew. I always known where you were, or whatever. And anyway, they have this awesome boss scene again, but this time there's explosions everywhere, and what they basically do is get on top of like this gas area. It's like a cool like blimp almost. Jason's like, or I guess Garrett's all like, leave without me, you guys go on your own. And they're like, no, don't die. And he's like, okay, I won't. And anyway, basically you get this fake twist death scene where the bridge explodes and Garrett's on it while Jack Black and Henry are looking back and they're like, no, he died. It's like all like cinematic death scene. It was great. And so they escape on the blimp, or the gas blimp, whatever you want to call it, and they make their way back over to the to the plains area, or I guess you would say like a mushroom area. Only problem is they crash land, and this is when Dawn and Natalie find them, because thanks to the dog they found, which is named Dennis. Dennis helps them find the guys. Now that they've found everybody except for Jason, Dawn, Natalie, and Henry are all sad and depressed about it, but they're like, we have to keep going. And so they devise a plan to take down the pig people once and for all. Dawn makes what was it again? She makes a whole wolf army, which is pretty cool. Natalie and Henry and Steve get like diamond armor and stuff. They get iron golems, like a whole army of them. Like the whole scene, they're like getting ready, like they're prepping up. Now, the one thing I didn't like was the fact that no one else had full diamond armor except Steve. He only made enough diamond armor, but for himself. At least that's what I remember, because he saw a lot of diamonds, but I don't remember seeing anyone else in diamond armor. But they did have diamond tools though, which was cool. Battle it out with the the pig lady, and everything's going crazy. You got explosions everywhere, people are screaming. Up until this point where Henry finds the core, I don't actually know how she got the core. Huh. I must have been, like, not paying attention. I don't really know. But, so the lady somehow has the core, and it's glowing, and it's floating up on a mountaintop, so Henry has to go and grab it. And so he's climbing up, he gets to it, and the lady has a even bigger pig boss guy. Like, this dude's not playing around. He's crazy, he's angry, and he launches a huge fireball at Henry, who's climbing to the top, which leads to him getting blasted off it, and he's falling to his death. Everyone's like, no, Henry's gonna die, no. And then last minute, Jason Momoa, or you can call him Garbage Man or Garrett, whatever you want to call him, saves the day just in time, and is like, hey Henry, poke the tentacles to move him. And then And then Henry's like, how did you know about this? And he's like, don't ask. Garbage Man just doesn't want to tell him how he knows to poke the tentacles. Everything gets saved, and then they get the cube. Ends up turning the overworld really bright green, and the sun's out, and it kills all the dang pigs. All the pigs just start burning away or whatever. Now, this is my favorite scene, where the old lady, while she's dying, she's like, come here, I have to tell you something. And she's talking to Steve. Who is like, bro, you're dying, just go away, like, just die already. And she's like, no, come here. And she tries to stab him, which fails, and he's like, see, I told you, I knew you're going to do that. And then she's like, no, I'm not going to do it again, come here. And then he's like, okay. And then he comes closer, she tries to stab him again. And she just keeps falling because she's like so weak and fragile now. Then she tries it one last time, and he's like, I'm done with you. And she's like, no. She's like, no, and she like melts away like a witch. He even calls her a witch too, which is funny. But yeah, she just melts away after trying to shank him like a few times. But all is saved. Everyone's happy that she's dead now, and they head back to the overworld. And they have this like bittersweet ending for a bit. Like, he's like, you can take Dennis with you, and I'm gonna stay here. Natalie says a line that makes him change his mind, and he comes with them. He's like, you know what? Maybe I won't stay in the Minecraft world. Maybe I can bring my imagination and creativity with me into the real world. And so he leaves, and everyone's happy. They have a dance party in the arcade, and oh yeah, because Garrett was poor and stuff, they took some diamonds with him, and he rebuilt his arcade place. So he has a new and fancy shop, and everyone's happy. And the end, that's basically what happens. That's the entire Minecraft movie. Now, I might have missed a few things. One in which I actually did forget was at the village, we saw a Technoblade pig, which was so cool that they added that in. And it was funny too, because I think one of the kids asked, who's that? Is that a king? And then Steve said, no, that's a legend. And that was just an awesome scene there. Another thing, they had a bit where they said, this is for mining and this is for crafting. And then the black girl said, Minecraft! And they're like, yeah! And they're about to like all gather around and say, Minecraft! But he's like, nah, we don't have time for that. Really corny stuff. But those were some of my favorite aspects about the movie. A few other things that was really cool. Like I said, I really loved the visuals. Thought that was one of the best aspects of the movie. The editing was great. The music was great. Every time Jack Black sung something, it was just perfect. I liked when he was singing about the dog and stuff. The chicken song was a little cringe for me personally, because then the pig was singing it for some reason. I don't know how the pig even knew the song. He was like, lava attack. Yeah, lava attack. Whatever, it was dumb. So some parts were hit or miss. Again, this was a movie for kids to watch, but they swore a lot, so I don't know. It had a lot of mixed audience reviews for me. I didn't know who they were targeting with the movie sometimes, especially with some of the principal's jokes. They were a little off, but nonetheless, the movie was great for the family. If you got some family, you should watch it with them. Now, here's my critical review on the movie, and I'll also give you guys the rating I would personally say for the movie. So I saw some cool concept art relating to the Ender Dragon, and after seeing that, I was like, crap, this movie could have been a lot better if we weren't just focused on the Nether, but we focused on the end also. Because, I don't know, I know this movie was for kids, and I know because of how the visuals looked, this wasn't a movie that I was going to enjoy fully. So I'm gonna give it credit where it's due. They did what they could with the movie, but I personally feel like the writing could have been a lot stronger, and I feel like they played it safe, which is obvious for a lot of movies these days, because they just do what will sell. They don't do what will take a risk. You know, taking a risk is not what a lot of movies do these days. They knew this was going to make a lot of money anyway, so why go any farther than they needed to, you know? Which is a problem for me because there was so much potential I could have saw with this movie. Like, take for example some story mode Minecraft elements. I personally always imagined a Minecraft movie that was more slower pace, but then it also would have felt very fantasy Lord of the Rings-ish. Not really, but like I always saw a cinematic Minecraft where you're focused on the quiet beginnings of Steve, and maybe Alex too, and then have something sad happen to Steve where he's all alone and sad in the world, and then he becomes like fat and miserable, which causes him to become like Jack Black or something. Like, that's what I would have done if Jack Black is Steve, but they didn't do that. And I wouldn't have given him that ugly sweater either. It just doesn't match like the costume design. I didn't like it. I'm so mean. Oh man. Okay, don't quote me on that, but like some of the costume design just didn't work. I didn't understand why Garrett or Jason Momoa, I didn't understand why Jason Momoa was dressed like that until they gave him his backstory. Then I was like, oh, okay, cool. But everyone felt so one-dimensional, especially Steve, and that really sucked because when they said he yearned for the mines as a child, I wanted more of that. Like, I wanted to see like why he yearned for the mines. What caused him to want to work in the mines as a child? Was his dad that weird old guy who was like telling him no? Like, we don't get the answers. And especially, it said once Steve grew up, he worked at like a corporate job, and then one day he decided to go back to the mines. Like, that was so weird. Like, why does he make like a mashed potato cave? I didn't understand. That's what made him go back to the mines, I guess. Mashed potatoes. I wish mashed potatoes told me what I wanted to do with my life, but anyway. So that's a few things I would have done. I wanted it to be more slower paced, have Jack Black be like this washed up guy who hated his life, which they kind of did, but I would have made that even stronger. Maybe make that go on for a little longer, and I really wouldn't have given him all that narration junk. I wanted more show and not tell, and I probably would have cut out Jason and Dawn if I had to pick and turn them into one character, or at the very least I would have gave the older girl a better plot line or something along those lines, or at the very least make a bunch of little kids go to Minecraft and make them all just friends and they're not related, because I feel like having some diversity like they did with the cast was a good idea on paper, but I would have made them kids if you're going to target a kid audience. That's at least what I would have done. You know, I'm not the best movie director ever. I do want to make movies, and that's why I am putting this out here now, because I really love movies. I love watching movies. I loved watching this movie, but I always come back from a movie with new ideas that I would have implemented if I created it. So I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from, and it's not to say this movie was awful, it's just, it wasn't for me, and that's okay. It wasn't for me. I personally just wanted to see it because I love Minecraft. I'm a Minecraft YouTuber. How could I not? If you personally saw the movie, let me know down in the comments what you thought about it, and maybe I will do more movie reviews in the future relating to other things on this channel, because this is my second channel that I'm posting this on. Yeah, I'm super happy that I'm able to talk about this more, because unrelated to the Minecraft movie, and actually, no, let's wrap this around. Related to the Minecraft movie, I liked the message that they gave us. They told us to be creative and to bring your creativity to the real world. Now, to kind of give some backstory of the old lady, she loved to dance apparently, and I thought that was really weird for the plot line for her. She loved to dance, but the pig people told her it was cringe and she shouldn't dance, and it embarrassed her so much that she hated creativity. She absolutely hated it, and I thought that was an interesting message to give the movie. Now, I don't think they did a good job on like strengthening that, but I could see what they were doing throughout the movie, like they tried to with the attempts. And I think that was a really great message for me as well, because one thing I struggled with the most in March was my urge to create, the hunger I have to create, but I was unable to due to multiple things in my life that I won't get into. But when you're busy and you're trying to make your own movies in the future, you're trying to be a movie director, you're trying to be a YouTuber, you're trying to be a daughter, you're trying to be a sister, you have all these different responsibilities, and all you want to do is create, but you don't get the time to. And I'm sure a lot of people have these problems. They're very busy people and they want to do stuff, but they can't because of limitations. That's how I felt. And I like that the movie had that message, because some people actually do struggle with that, like me. Or like maybe you watching this video. So I say that was awesome. I like that plot line, and I think more movies should have plot lines similar to that. Now, I would say they could have done a better job at it, but I'm just happy it was there, because nowadays people are afraid to create, and some people are just afraid to be seen trying. And that's sad, because in order to create something great, you sometimes have to create something bad in the process. So I hope that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't, but I'm really glad I could sit here and talk about some random stuff and just, just be here. Be here now and do this. I have no idea what to make my thumbnail. Should I make a clickbaity thumbnail? I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't care if this gets views. I just want to talk. That's all I want to do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review of the Minecraft movie. Oh, sorry, a Minecraft movie, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna make more and, like, basically kill the franchise of a buttload of movies. I hope the next movie is as interesting as this one. I actually hope they do make more movies. I hope they make a movie about beating the Ender Dragon. I hope they make another movie where they touch on the Sea Guardians. I hope they make a movie where they fight the Wither. Alright, I've said it. I hope they pump a bunch of movies out and they're good for the kiddies, okay? The kiddos. That's all I have to say about that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay awesome and always change.